Hi everyone and welcome. Well, this isn't just a horoscope because I am going to be speaking about some astrological energies that are taking place in the present moment, but this is also like a spiritual contract that I have to fulfill because certain spiritual energies do help me a lot, and I do promise sometimes that I include them in my work. And today I have to include perhaps not an astrological energy, but one that influences other astrological energies. And she is none other than Persephone, Proserpina, if I am pronouncing it correctly in Latin, I do believe. So she has a lot to do with this energy, first of all, because she is one of the most beautiful embodiment of the divine feminine, and she is, especially her energy, what Persephone represents in an alchemical way, a certain aspect of the divine feminine, the wise women. Persephone being the daughter of Demetra, so Demetra can be seen as the mature, the nurturing, the fountain of life aspect of the divine feminine. And life does have a lot of wisdom, life has its ways, life has its magic. And there it is, Persephone, the daughter. So Persephone is basically a daughter of the earth, but a godly being, a grand sorceress, a witch, a wise woman, one might argue, and witches all over the world in any way, shape, and form, depending on what we consider witches. Well, they do have a special connection to Persephone. Some consider her as being the first witch, the original witch. This is where Hecate or other representations of lunar deities, well, they were always above. So they were always the deities of witches, not necessarily being witches themselves, but their earthly versions, the witches, male, female included, of course, which does not mean the gender of something, so to speak. So Persephone is considered one of the first. In other versions, it's Aradia, but Aradia is long after Persephone. Others would argue Medea. There are a lot of candidates for this, but Persephone is one of the more widely accepted as being the first witch. And why? Because of her legend, she was ultimately the consort of Pluto. How she became that? Out of a trickery, out of Pluto forcing her, out of she feeling, so to speak, this call. But anyway, she did ultimately take the position of Pluto's wife, but also she remained Demetra's daughter. And according to the legends, Demetra mourned and basically gave into the heartache, and winter descended, everything died, everything was cold, everything was dry, dead, frozen solid. And of course, Jupiter, Zeus had to do something, so he made this pact because ultimately nothing could survive with Demetra being in this state. So the agreement was made, so Persephone spent half the year with her mother Demetra, and everything grows, flourishes, the summer, the spring, the good times, and then she returns to Pluto, half a year, 6 months, so then autumn and ultimately winter. But in this way, the cycles are complete and everyone's happy. Yes, everyone is happy, but maybe we should be asking Persephone herself how she feels about this. And why should we be asking her and not Demetra, not Pluto, or not anyone else, not even Zeus? Because she stands close to what we are. And everyone alive today, in their own unique circumstances, are Persephones. Why? Because we have to make choices sometimes in life. This is where Demetra, we all have Ceres, we all have a Demetra in our lives. What nourishes us, this fountain of our joys, the fountain of our happiness. Criminals, lowlifes, psychopaths, servants of darkness, demonic entities, everyone has something that is like a Ceres, a Demetra to them. And ultimately, everyone also has a Pluto, their own power, truth, honesty, authenticity to themselves. Especially in Hungarian culture, they have a saying that even the devil has a mother. Even Pluto has a mother, if you know what I mean. Not necessarily in that shape in legend, but everything has a source of nourishment and life, if you know what I mean. So, this is where it's tricky. Sometimes you had to split yourself between the fountain of your nourishment, that which you love, Pluto, yourself, that which you have to do, that which is your power, basically, the power, the true and honest power. One would argue Uranus, because that is what God created you to be. But then again, that's obsolete without Pluto, the Plutonian version of it. Everything has a shadow. Buddha, the Christ, everyone was tempted by the shadow, and the shadow was nothing else but them, really, them, part of them. And that is basically all of us playing out. And where I'm going with this is, well, Persephone. Persephone is ultimately what witches should be all over the world, in any way, shape, and form. Ultimate compassion. Because what she did was, she dared, she had the courage to love. She had the courage to see something good in Pluto. She had the divine openness to see that yes, Pluto needs love. And ultimately, Pluto with love is a different Pluto than Pluto without love. If even the shadow speaks with love, if even the shadow has a compassionate side, if the shadow acts as our guardian, as our defender, as sometimes the necessary force, the necessary in nature, like animals have to show each other their teeth and bite sometimes for respect. Even Demetra, parent, mother animals have to sometimes discipline their children to ensure survival, their own survival. So, everything has a Plutonian side to it, including Demetra herself. But Demetra herself did not know her Plutonian side, that she is even 10 times more cruel than Pluto, because Pluto kind of judges the dead and the shadow and this and that. Demetra, bye everything. All grain of life, bye. No discussion here. I'm upset. So who is the cruel energy here? Pluto, who kind of chooses and tests, trials, tempts, sees someone's honesty, and then does something? Or Demetra, where if she's upset, well, bye. It's no discussion, no negotiation. So you see that everything has a different version. And where I'm going with this is Persephone knows this. So she had to, out of sheer compassion, split herself into two. We have to please both Demetra, we have to please Pluto as well. Both the divine, both the Christ, both Mammon, the earthly. And very, very soon, especially right now, we are so very much made aware of these nuances, karmic nuances. We are dragged karmically in this, in job, in relationships, in our work, in our personal lives, in our dreams, in our spirituality, in our philosophy, anything. But we are dragged into seeing the different side of different things. And that changes a lot. That changes everything. So we have to be like Persephone herself, be understanding and know how to please both at the same time. Because ultimately, when everything is happy, Persephone herself is happy with the balance. She is more than able to cope. So all of us need to activate the inner witches that we also are, regardless of our genders. The natural wisdom that lies in our common sense, that what makes a wise woman a wise woman. Magic, spirituality, religion, philosophies, techniques, modalities, what people tell you and what you ultimately choose to believe, all have to have a common sense and be directly subjected to common sense, because nothing in the universe goes against common sense. Only the shadow, sorry, the anti energies. So that which is way beyond the shadow, that which is anti, that goes against everything sacred, because that's its existence. It has to. And that makes us believe things that are not necessarily true. And we wake up to the fact that quite the anti of that is true. Where, well, surprise, you're not ugly, you're not dumb, you're not unsuccessful, you're not totally beyond redemption, you're not this. So actually what your inner voice kind of said in a certain period in your life and you were very depressed, well, the opposite of that is true. And how easy it was for the opposite of that to convince you and keep you forever in a depressed state, and how hard it is for the opposite of that to try day after day through messages, synchronicities driving you insane, to try and convince you that you're not lost, not whatever you hold against yourself. So we have to help the light now, because it needs us. And this is, I'm not joking, this isn't a joke, this isn't an analogy. We find ourselves in such a moment where we have no choice, regardless of who it is that you are. You still can do something to help. So help. Spreading hope is the first choice here. And why we're all Demetra and Persephone and Pluto. So this is the inner triangle inside of us. If you know what I mean, we all have a feminine side and energy, we all have a profoundly shadowy masculine energy, and we all have a Persephone, the son or daughter, that which we truly are. So it is our job to make pacts with Jupiter. And this is where the first thing I want to mention in this spiritual pact horoscope ultimately that I'm doing. Now I learned this from another mystic who I know here locally. So one time I said to him something about how lucky you are. I said, how lucky you are. And he was shocked and he said, blasphemy, like literally like this. And I said, what the hell? And he said, no. Let me teach you. In my religion, so he told me, in his religion, luck was a demon, a devil, that was worshipped at Mount Athos, perhaps. Sorry if I'm not remembering exactly, but something like that. And they had to throw in the burning cauldron and sacrifice a child, perhaps, and good fortune would descend ultimately on the family. Luck would follow their every footstep. Now, after some biblical historic events happened there, and the Virgin Mary set foot on there, it was said that the altar and the cauldron and everything exploded violently like a volcano. So the place was sanctified. So basically he told me never to wish anyone good luck, because luck is the bad side of Jupiter. I should just wish them faith. That's it, that's simple, because that will create them what they need. More than luck could give them. So this is perhaps the lesson of Jupiter in the sign of Aries. You don't need luck. You need to believe in yourself. Persephone. That's how she did it. She believed in herself. She believed that she can be the mother's daughter and wife of Pluto as well. Because without her cooperation and wisdom and tolerance and all that feminine stuff that a wise woman has to do in life in every circumstance, well, she did it. Without her, Jupiter could not succeed ultimately. So she was actually the star of the show. But no one puts her as the star of the show. Because she did it. She did it. It was not the other people but her, really. And I'm not singing her praise, but we need to be as resourceful as she was, and we have a great help. Venus meeting Pallas Athena in the sky. Now Venus and Uranus, as Nadia Shaw says in her work, is when, Venus was born from Uranus, so it's free love. The freedom. Love is, dare I say, Luciferian, because it's free and listens to no one and nothing. So that's why it's okay to love. And even the universe, the most sacred powers tolerate this one thing, because love is sacred and free and should be free. So nothing conditions love. If someone tells you that they know a love spell, that person is not... If someone tells you this and that they have any control over love, then that person is not wise at all. Quite contrary, love is always free. But with Pallas Athena is ultimately profound wisdom, how to obtain something. And Venus in the sign of Taurus is how to obtain your own purity, the purity of your own love. This is where you're truly worth it. So that bodes very well with Jupiter in Aries, to be honest with you. Because if you see purity in yourself, pure passion, pure love, pure devotion, dedication, a pure desire, pure something, you immediately activate this nodal energy and the universe starts conspiring in your favor. But you fuel it with your belief, your self-belief that yes, you are doing it, and yes, so it happens that for any reason which you don't even care about, the universe is conspiring, everything in it is supporting you in that, so shut up and do it. So really, this is what we need to be doing right now. But there is a big deal here, because Mars is conjunct Chiron. And what Chiron has to do with this, Dimitra was wounded, Pluto was wounded, because imagine Pluto's pain when he was in danger of losing his source of love. Everything deserves love, including Pluto, so the universe gifted it to him, and now it's been taken away. So the cruelty, the rage, the anger, this is where maybe the souls of the dead will all of a sudden not have not just a second chance, but not even the first one. This is where, what will Pluto activate? Venus. Venus in the sign of Libra, Mat. If your heart is not lighter than a feather, bye. And it's not like that, really, because there's many chances. Because Pluto is not his cruel self, because he's happy. Let's keep him happy. Reasonably happy. So you see, there is a balance in the cosmos, in our hearts, in our lives. And first of all, there needs to be a balance in our spirit. What do we truly serve with the spirit and with what we do? If we are serving truly life and light and the unity of all and the good of all, then this time, regardless of who it is that you are or who it is that you think you are, step up, do it. Whatever gift you were given, just use it. Just be yourself, that's all you need to do, and not give in to that which is anti, as in against you. And why I'm saying this is because we have a Sun and Neptune square. This is when we feel that a lot of invisible energy is against us. Inside of us, first of all. So yes, this is where the shadow, but that side of the shadow, which is not the subject of shadow work. That side of the shadow which is not welcome in our dimension, world, emotions, anywhere near us, that side of the shadow, which really should not be here, that boils, that almost like takes pride in itself and in what it can accomplish, because Neptune and Sun square can be depressive, melancholic, I'm not good enough, and not good, and this is the usual I'm not good enough. This is where maybe you are walking home from the celebration or festivity with diploma in your hand, or a trophy in your hand, or praises or success or whatever, and with that in your hand you're thinking to yourself, this is in my hand but I'm not good enough, really. That's when things are bad, because something is convincing you to generate something, a kind of reality for yourself which is not your own, and it's alien to you, because you triumphed, man. Like you did it, you're walking home, or and all of us with Jupiter in this part of the sky are called to love that, do that, be that. You're doing something for your triumph, and chances are the universe is helping you. And if you are not helping yourself right now, that means you need to cast that out from yourself and be the ruler of your own being, and then make choices when you know that you're actually in charge, and not that which you don't see and ignore, but it does see you and influence you in one way or another. Because when the light is strong, the opposite has to be equally as strong. So when one is strong, the other is strong. So that's why a lot of things are at play in the world, both good and bad at the same time. And I know I shouldn't be speaking of this, and what does this have to do with Persephone? Well, wasn't this the life of Persephone when you're caught between light and dark, mom and your lover, love of your life? So we're all Persephones. The human race is a Persephone right now. So no, let's be wise. Pallas Athena gives us wisdom right now. Venus with the node, and Uranus and Sedna. They give us clarity in our hearts. We are not lost. We may think we are, but we're not. We really know what we love. So time to be honest with ourselves, and not shy away from desiring love, desiring that which you give, desiring not wanting to be alone, knowing that you have a lot of love and value to give and generate for others. Like, let's think purely non-spiritually. Practically what Uranus in North... Uranus, when after it meets the North Node, that's what my unconscious wanted to say. I was projecting it. But what I wanted to say is, what Uranus transiting the sign of Taurus is doing, while creating small communities where every member is useful, everyone in that little village or town or community or your guild or your, I don't even know, religious group or whatever group, Aquarius. However you may find yourself in Aquarius, connected to someone or something, well, you will be that will be your little part, if you know what I mean. So you're being prepared to be useful, you're being prepared to find that group where you belong, what it is that you can offer. If you want to, for example, be part of something larger and that's your calling, then the group is pushing you forwards to that. Because the groups need to be united as well, a lot of representatives and diplomats are needed. So everyone is kind of being pushed to fulfill their calling, including you, me, everyone. So this is practically how it's all building up, the local, whatever it is. And it's beautiful. So, and this is practical, but spiritually speaking, that needs to be based on purity, because what is Venus doing right now with the node? The basic element for a good future is for us, everyone alike, to know how to appreciate the other. So this isn't just about us, this is even more about the other, and this is where we need to appreciate the other. End of. Without too many conditions. You know, we need to appreciate that which we are given. So we also need to do that to ourselves, because we need to be offering as well. So you can't be saying that I'm offering this to you, but I'm shit. I'm sorry. Oh my god, I said that. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm probably not gonna edit this out, because Saturn trining the sun, even my natal sun, that makes me a bit lazy. I'm sorry. So where I'm going with this is that we need to be pure, and we need to appreciate purity, and we need to... Black Moon Lilith is also in Cancer, along with Ceres Demetra, and she's the critic. She's the kind of energy where someone gives you a present and you immediately know they didn't give it from the heart. So even if it costs like 5 million euros, you don't appreciate it. And there's no way you can convince yourself to appreciate it. That's Black Moon Lilith in Cancer. Or even if that person is your mother, and your mother is not a naive person, if you give something just out of, obligation, she will know. She will know. She will feel it. She's a mom. And she will be honest, probably. That's Black Moon Lilith. That's one of her roles. So that's why we need to learn how to give with heart and receive and appreciate one another and really appreciate the other person. And more importantly, Cancer borders, leave the other person alone. If you know that that person can appreciate you, that half an hour, respect their boundaries and they will respect you and everything will be beautiful. Then Lilith will be at peace. She won't come out to play when she's not needed. She's lazy. She loves doing nothing. Let her do nothing. Please, let her do nothing. So the other energy is Chiron. We're also wounded and we all need to be there for others. But we also need healing because Mars activates Chiron big time. So healing is everything now and we're not aware of it. We are doing everything else except not healing. And we can't focus all that much on this. So we have good excuses because of Neptune. Because Neptune is that darker side of the shadow which wants us to be doomy gloomy. Which wants us not to have that much hope. Which wants us not to feel worthy. And when someone smiles at us, we rather say, smile at your lover, smile at your parents, smile at your doggy, but please not at me because I'm beyond redemption. So just accept that I'm gonna fall and be buried. And we don't know that we're doing this, but if that's what our soul says, if that is what our sixth sense says to the sixth sense of the other being, well, that other being will smile but won't approach us. It will respect the boundaries. It will just say, okay, I'm so sorry you feel this way, but I'm still smiling at you, so appreciate that. Maybe that seed of intention gets into your heart, maybe it doesn't, but that being can't approach you. Because if this program is running in your unconscious, don't approach me because I'm beyond redemption. Well, then don't expect the hug. Please don't be mad at me for saying this, but how can you get the hug? How can you receive it, really? Because this is the ether. And with Neptune in the third decan of Pisces, the ether is 10 times more powerful than the material. And you won't believe this, but it's real. Ask anyone. Ask any astrologer, ask priest, ask esoterist, occultist, Reiki, whatever, ask them and they will say that even if those people who don't even know what Neptune is, in their own way they came to this conclusion that right now ether is everything. So don't feed that to the ether. Feed that you're worthy. Feed that the person on the street will approach you. And you will have a very beautiful conversation, and both of you will feel that much more beautiful inside. And who knows what can happen from there. So feed this into you, because this is how you receive love, by dreaming of love. If you even limit yourself from dreaming of love, well, then what kind of person are you to yourself? Don't let Neptune do this to you, because Neptune is the way you want it to be. Pisces, the two fish. You choose how Neptune is to you. Choose it, so please choose it. Let it smile, let it be dreams, let it be the ray of sunlight. Wind, rain, leaf in the wind, and on the street, everything can speak to you symbols of love. Go out and you will see love everywhere. Insects mating, trees being beautiful, nature being herself. Everything is love if you know how where to look for it. So it's there really. So please choose. Persephone chose. Ultimately, Persephone chose love for Demeter and Pluto, and it was possible. Look, it was possible. Love triumphed. That is what she was trying to teach us, and no one listened. So let's listen. Let's choose. Just that's what we have to do. Really choose love. And that will help us immensely. Really, really it will. But this, I think I fulfilled my end of the bargain. So thank you everyone for listening and for giving me the opportunity to fulfill my end of the deal. Until next time, bye for now.